Good morning. This is Maria Quattrone with Be the Solution podcast. And my belief is that we should live our lives by providing value to others by being the solution. Our purpose is to teach others on how to be the solution. And our goal is to help our listeners to become their own solution. And our mission is to inspire people to become a problem solver. And our vision is to change the way that people think. What if everybody lived their life by being the solution? And today I welcome my guest. I am so excited and honored to be with him today, Matt O'Neill. Welcome, Matt.
What's up, Maria? Be the solution.
Be the solution. Good morning. How are you?
I love your mission and your vision. One of our 5 core values is solutions. And I only have 5 core values. You know, it's not 10 or 15 or 20, it's 5. And one of the 5 is solutions. And
what are the other 4, Matt?
Our first one is hugging, which means, you know, in COVID, right? We still hug, but with masks on. Yeah. That's like, you know, treating people like humans instead of numbers, you know, really being present to what people need, hugging them in an emotional way when they need it, or just picking them up, or being a good person. And then we've got accountability. That's big in our company. And we've got integrity, and we've got solutions, and we've got learn and grow. Those are the 5.
I love it. I love it. Matt, I don't know if you remember, but I can't exactly remember where we've met, but it's been, way over a decade ago. Do you remember?
Yes. Kendra Reese.
Oh, yeah. I knew it was an event. I knew it wasn't Mike Ferry, but I couldn't figure out which one it was. Kendra Reese, that's right.
Yeah, you and me were with Kendra Reese a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. And wow, how far you have come and grown your company. I want to start by congratulating you and your team and your company on a fantastic and a record-setting 2020. I just saw that you just surpassed 300 million in sales volume, and that is no easy feat. So congratulations, well done.
Yeah, thank you so much. We just found out last night. You know, it's you're counting up the closings that actually closed before the end of the year, and as we're entering the new year, you don't really know what actually got closed and what didn't. And we were like so close, man. You know how things just kind of push over to the next month, especially at the end of the year.
Yeah.
We entered December with 308 million pending, you know, and 41 million was supposed to close in December, but you just don't know. You know, some is going to push. We just didn't know how much was going to. We ended up just barely making that 300. 299 would not have been as fun. It wouldn't have been as good of a banner.
No, for sure. That's amazing. I know the end of the year is tough. We had a lot pushed to January. So I go, well, January will be fantastic.
Yeah.
So great to see you. Welcome. So tell me, how many people are in your company now?
We've got over 100.
Wow.
So a lot of virtual people. I think we've got 11 or 12 virtual people.
What is virtual, local USA or Philippines or?
You know, yeah, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Philippines. It's nice to have the ones that are in our time zone though, because they get to have normal sleep hours. It's I always feel bad when we're talking with folks at noon and it's really midnight, you know, and I know that they've got young kids and everything, but that's you know, we treat them really well. That's just the best. That's the best opportunity for employment for them, is to work at those hours.
It is the best opportunity. We actually have a couple ladies that work with us from the Philippines, and
yeah,
you know, you have to think too. And then sometimes they said the other day, can we take a half a day on New Year's Eve? And I was like, sure, we're going to close early anyway. We were going to give you off at 2:00, 2:30, which by the way, never happened because we had so many deals going. We stayed, I think the last till 7:00 or so, but nonetheless, I didn't realize she meant to come in later because at 11 a.m. our time, EST, it was midnight there. she wanted to come in at 1. I said, first.
Yeah, because that's the biggest celebration. The New Year's is the biggest celebration.
Yes.
In their culture, it's like it's their Christmas day. That New Year.
It's a big deal, and I didn't. This is the first year, so I didn't realize that. Right. So
next time you'll just give them the whole freaking day off.
I did. I gave them the whole day off.
Good.
No notice to me, but I felt bad for not even recognizing it. So my bad.
Yeah, no, it's good. You don't know because we didn't grow up in that culture. You just know from getting to know your people and what you've done, and that's great. So so I want to be as much value to you and anyone that's listening to this podcast as possible. So what do people come to this podcast to get most? Would you say? What are some of the comments you see?
I think, Matt, it's teaching and learning. And that can be either whether we want to talk about what's happening in the real estate industry or, from an agent perspective, is how can agents, you have a lot of people in your company. You're obviously doing something pretty darn right. And what value can you bring to the real estate agent community? Yeah.
So from what I know about people who listen to real estate podcasts, are usually in the beginning of their career. And I like to put myself in if I was to parachute into a town with no money and just getting started in real estate in that new town, and I didn't have a reputation or employees or a company that I've built over the last decade, how would I start? And what I would do is I would just hit expireds and for sale by owners extremely hard, because they don't cost anything and they're some of the best leads that you can possibly get your hands on. And that's how I built my business. I built my business with open houses and expireds and FSBOs. That's how I started, and built up from there.
So in regards to that, are your agents calling those now? Are you have a team of people calling expireds, FSBOs? Are you using Red X, Vulcan 7, Espresso Agent?
Ooh, Espresso Agent. I haven't heard of that. Is that good?
I use Vulcan 7, so
yeah,
we have more solutions.
We have 2 Vulcan 7 accounts and a Red X account, just because we want multiple people hitting the expireds and FSBOs, and they keep notes in there, and and sometimes they get upset when some people step on their toes about their notes. So we've got 1 account just for the inside sales agents, 1 account just for the agents. And then we've got a Red X account, and I'm going to check out Espresso Agent now that you've mentioned that, and see if that's something that we should be on. But yeah, it's just like, we've got a lot of agents, a lot of inside sales agents here. I tell them all, call expireds and FSBOs, and only 10% do. Because it's hard. It's hard. It's grimy. It's hard work. You're going to have rejection on the other end of that line. You're going to have some really upset people on the other end of that line. And it takes somebody that is so determined to be successful that they'll do that anyway, knowing that it's hard, and kind of embrace the suck.
I think, Matt, if you do anything long enough, it doesn't become hard anymore.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
There's an expired that came up yesterday. And I said to Paula, my VA, said, find me that information, see if it's in, because not everything's in the Vulcan 7. I don't have every number.
Right.
But she found it. So I'm going to call them this morning when we're finished. And it's a $1.3 million listing. So I'm excited to talk to them, actually.
Yeah, you're going to crush it. I can't believe I'm getting in the way of you getting this $3 million client.
That's
the ninja stuff on expireds and FSBOs. The ones that didn't have the number in the Vulcan 7 are the best leads, because of the 10% who are calling expireds and FSBOs, 90% won't go the extra step and find the numbers that aren't in there. So now you're just dealing with this very, very small amount of competition when you took the extra steps that you and your VA did. So I used to get really excited when the number wasn't in there, because it gave me an opportunity to go after one that nobody was going to go after.
So are you doing any additional steps with those people, that source of business, direct mail, anything like that?
We are, we're retargeting them. So, on the Google network and on Facebook, we'll retarget the expireds and FSBOs in our town. And other than that, no. So we're retargeting them, and then we're calling them, and then hopefully they're seeing the billboards and hearing the radio ads and seeing the TV ads. And and we're mailing too. I take that back. We are doing mailing. So when it's like 14% of our business was expired in FSBO last year. So that's a big chunk of business, like almost 50 million.
How many units was that?
Our average price is $429.
Okay.
So
about 100.
About 100 closings. Yeah. And that's the thing, we got 100 closings this year on expireds and FSBOs alone. And yeah, we have a lot of people going after it, and we are spending money, as I mentioned, in different ways to target them. But if I was a single agent going into a new town, knowing in that new town, no matter how much competition there was an opportunity for me to have 100 closings, 45 million in volume this year on expireds and FSBOs, I'd be excited about that opportunity.
There's tons of opportunity. Would you door knock them in this environment?
No. I always feel intruded on when people knock on my door, even before COVID. People knocking on the door, and it's just when I'm home, I want to be home. I don't want people soliciting me. So because I feel that way, I don't want to put other people in that same kind of situation.
I was just curious. I know some people do it, some people don't. I think it's market based. What's more acceptable in your market? I know in some counties in LA, it's very common. All the agents door knock. My friend lived in right near Santa Monica. What is it? Venice Beach. And she said every single agent there door knocked their neighbors. It was very common. If you didn't do it, you were like the uncommon one.
Crazy. If I had agents knocking on my door every day, I would be mad. I would have to figure out a way to have some type of low level electric current on that doorknob.
I think it's us East Coast people that are they're a little nicer down in Southern California.
Well, they're very nice in Charleston. Everybody's very polite. We were actually voted the most polite city in the United States 9 years in a row.
Oh, I love your city, by the way. It's a fantastic place to be.
Yeah, I love it too.
It's a great place. So what you didn't grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth. You came from basically nothing. And what would you say matters some of the characteristics that you've developed over the years and habits to get to where you are? Because you just didn't pop up and were born that way exactly, right?
Yeah. Your past can be your greatest asset.
That's right.
Especially challenging ones. I was just talking about this yesterday. One of the guys in my company had a vision board, and on it was David Goggins, the guy who wrote the book Can't Hurt Me. And we were, he's just ripped. He's like such a celebrity now. And he says in his book, Can't Hurt Me, he said, it wasn't until just recently that I saw that as difficult as my past was, and as much of a nightmare as it was to live through in his past, it makes my childhood look like the greatest childhood there ever was. That's how bad his childhood was. That he said, I realized that my past, it gave me everything I have today. It was actually my greatest asset because it forged me into the person I am. And I feel the same way. I feel like every hardship that I had to endure was an opportunity for me to become more determined, more strong, more steadfast on what I wanted as when I grew up. And so it was an asset. And I think anyone's past can be an asset. We were on the phone with my coach. I've got a Tony Robbins coach, and he was sharing that he was born with a silver spoon. He was this golden child. He was an only child. His parents showered him with all this love, and everything came easy to him. because of his parents just kind of coddling him or protecting him. And he rebelled against that and got into drugs, like heavy drugs, and lost a friend to alcoholism at a young age. And that crawling out of that was his biggest asset, because now he's an addiction counselor, and through addiction counseling, he's now the go-to addiction counselor for the Tony Robbins organization, was just ranked the #1 coach in that organization 2 years in a row. And none of that would have happened if he hadn't gone through the shit that he went through.
That's right.
And so that's how I feel about it. What actually propelled me to be successful was the days of Kendra Reese's time, when you and I were there, and Michael Reese said, "Hey, read this book, The Miracle Morning by Al Elrod." And I read The Miracle Morning, and it said, get up an hour early and work on yourself, work harder on yourself than you do your job. Read every day, exercise every day, meditate every day, journal every day. I started to do those things. And through that daily habit of reading new information every single day, I grew myself to a person who could attract success.
That's how it's done, just like that. One, two, three. I love that book, and I love the principles of it. And I actually really love my extra hour in the morning. It changes my day. How about you?
I wouldn't do it any other way. So the hour that I gave up was an extra hour of TV. Like, where was the benefit in that? It wasn't adding anything to my life, the TV shows that I was watching. So I subtracted an hour of mindless TV and added everything.
Well, we do know that, our day, our mornings depend upon what happened the day before.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you only can't get up in the morning if you go to bed too late, right? So if you make the habit of, I'm going to be in bed by 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, whatever, and you're trying to get up at 5, it's a lot easier than if you go to bed at 11. It's not getting up at 5 isn't hard if you go to bed at 9.
Right.
So the choices we make the day before affect the next day. And I talk about stacking the deck in our favor.
I like that.
So, okay, the more decisions that we have to make, Matt, the harder it is to make decisions.
Right.
So laying out, okay, this is what we're eating this week. Even though it sounds stupid, every time you have to make a decision, your wife calls you, what do you want for dinner tonight? My husband calls me, what do you want for dinner tonight? We don't do the what do you want for dinner tonight, because I always say, here's what we're having. This is what we have in the freezer, or what we bought for the week.
Yeah.
So we know what we're having for dinner. We know I have pretty much wear similar clothes all the time. Black pants, a blouse, or a sweater now because it's cold, here in Philadelphia. I have like a uniform, so to speak. I don't have to decide and stare in my closet. Should I wear a dress today? Should I wear a skirt? Should I wear slacks? Stacking the deck in your favor. Having what's your routine in the morning? What do you drink? Tea, coffee, your vitamins, having everything laid out and ready. Having your lunch ready and prepared. These are tiny little things, but the tiny little things make the big change. Tiny hinges swing big doors, because if I don't eat appropriately at the right time and I don't prepare and have my food ready, then I might make a bad choice. I may then have to order out food, which then isn't healthy as having my food ready. Right. It's all those little things. It's the preparation. The devil's in the detail.
Yeah, I totally agree. Mark Zuckerberg wears the exact same outfit every day. So did Steve Jobs. Just take away every tiny decision fatigue. My wife always used to ask me what I thought about, the meal planning, because that's part of what she does, is think about meal planning. And one day I said, everything that you say, I always say that's great. And she would say, hey, she would also order my lunch and take care of me in that way. And she'd say, hey, what do you think about this for your lunch? And I would say, I think that's great. And one day I just said, I want you to know that you don't have to run these things by me anymore. And if you want to, I'm happy to tell you that it's great, but it's always great because I don't want to decide. I don't want to have to make that decision. I've given her guidelines, hey, let's do salads for lunch. That's a good idea for me to keep my energy high, but it doesn't matter to me what type of salad or what's on it or where it's from.
Exactly. Just little things I've noticed is what makes the big change. And one of the books that I love, and it's a very easy and simple book to read, but it's The Compound Effect.
Oh, love that book.
Right, with Darren Hardy. And
yeah,
were you there when didn't they bring him in?
Oh yeah, man, I got a signed copy. I got my Hardy Compound Effect copy. I bought one for everyone in my company after I read it years ago. Yeah, that book rocks.
That's one of my favorite books of all times.
Me too. Yeah, the biggest lesson in that book for me that it still sticks with me, I still teach it to people today, is that your commitments to yourself cannot be broken. If you tell yourself that you're going to do something, you have to do it no matter what, because every time you don't follow through on what you told yourself you were going to do, you've just weakened your resolve to do the next thing you told yourself you would do. And then eventually you stop believing yourself. And then because you don't believe yourself, you don't follow through on the things that you were supposed to do. You start to have low self-esteem, and the low self-esteem produces lower results. And it's this whole negative spiral. And it all started with just making one decision to do what you said you were going to do. And he said, when I'm on the treadmill and I told myself I was going to run 6 miles and I get to mile 4 and I'm like, I'll just cut out, man. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. He's like, nope. I suffer through the last 2 miles. I get to mile 6 because I have to keep that muscle strong of always doing what I said I would do to keep my self-confidence high so that I succeed. That lesson was like, at the time, mind-blowing to me. Just absolutely blew me away. And I've lived by it.
It's definitely, it's a big lesson to learn though, because, like you said, it's that chipping away of your integrity every single time you don't. So, sometimes I don't want to make a commitment to do something.
Yeah.
Because it's better almost not to make the commitment than to make it and not do it.
It's definitely better. Yeah. Be very careful about what you commit to. Because and you want to follow through on every single one. And that's the principle from Darren Hardy's book.
So I'm right now in the process of purging things from my life, material things.
Yeah.
And we've made a huge dent in it, but we're not done. And I have till the end of this month to complete it. And one of the projects is a pretty big project. Well, there's 3 projects. One's medium-sized and 2 were really big. So one's almost completed. But I'm going to finish this thing if I'm doing it the last day till midnight. Yes.
Yeah, get it done. I've got a buddy that I text with every day, my 3 things to get done this day.
So what's today?
Today, I haven't sent. But I didn't do one of them from yesterday. And that's why I haven't sent today's yet, because I want to get it done before I text him. I said I would write my staff annual reviews before the end of the day yesterday. And then I didn't get around to writing their annual reviews. So when we get done with this podcast, I'm cranking out annual reviews, and then I'm going to text him that I got it all done.
So is that your accountability partner that you talk to in the daily?
Yeah. We just text our 3 every day, and then we text the next day that we got them done.
How long have you been doing that for, Matt?
I think maybe 2 years.
Do you find that valuable?
Yeah, because look, I need to get done these annual reviews, right? Otherwise that project could just linger and linger and linger. But because I've got intention about it, it's being done, within 24 hours as soon as I say it.
And that's how it's done. Bam.
Bam. Just like that.
So, one of the things people always ask is what works? And I say, anything will work if you do the work.
Yeah.
So calling your clients, calling your SOI, calling expired, calling for sale by owners. They all provide opportunity for you, but you have to do the work. Real estate's not hard, but getting up every day and being consistent. How do you keep your mindset strong, Matt, in order to do that and move the company forward?
Yeah, that's it. You just hit on it. Everything works. Every single thing works. And when somebody's like, oh, I've got this new idea about how to get new business, I'm like, that'll work. They all work. All of them will bring business. Every single idea is going, someone's making money on it selling real estate. So it's not a lack of strategy. We don't need more hows. We don't need more like, oh, that lead source is the lead source, or Matt said call expireds and FSBOs. That's the way. We don't need more strategy. Everybody knows what to do. You need to contact people about buying and selling homes. That could be your past clients. That could be people in your neighborhood. That could be people in a neighborhood you want to farm. It could be anybody. You just need to contact people every day that want to buy and sell homes. That's it. That's the whole strategy. And it could be leads. It doesn't matter. But what separates people who are successful from ones who are not is the mindset, like you just said. So that's why the Miracle Morning changed everything for my business, because that's when I started to work on my own mindset, and I still do constantly. That coach I told you about, his only job is psychology. He's a mindset coach. When my psychology is high, when my state is high, when I'm passionate, when I'm enthusiastic, when I'm on fire, it all works. Like we crush it. I can accomplish anything. In fact, every single thing I've ever put on a dream board has come true, like all of it. And I know that anything else I want to put up there, like I think about anything I want to do, and I say, I'll do that if I want to. And it's because everyone's the same way. Nobody's different than me. Anyone can have anything that they are willing to commit to. But the reason that we don't get it is because our mindset starts to go into a low energy state. We got all kinds of bullshit emotions. We got problems with our spouse. We got problems with our parents that we never resolve. We got problems with our clients, or with other people in the office, or with the other agents. So we got all these emotional things. This baggage just gets in the way from having a beautiful state. And when we're in a beautiful state and we're not pulled down by all this weight, we can do anything. So what's worked for me is, I'll just give you my daily routine. I wake up and I've got this sign on my floor and it says, thank you. So my first thing, my feet hit the floor. My left one, I say thank, and my right one hits the floor and I say you. And then my whole walk through the house is thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So no matter what dreams I had about Schitt's Creek, the show we watched last night, whatever is in my subconscious, if I had bad dreams or good dreams, it doesn't matter. I'm reprogramming with each step gratitude. And then the next thing I do is my coffee's being made, is I have my gratitude journal and I write 3 things I won at yesterday to focus my mind on winning. 3 things that went really well, because my mind, and all of our minds, always looks at what's going wrong. Always. It's like, oh, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough there. So what's wrong is always available, but what's right, you have to be conscious about looking for what's right. So I write 3 things I won at. And then I write 3 things I'm grateful for. And then I write my top 10 goals in life every day. I just write them out, just like writing sentences as a kid. I used to get in a lot of trouble. So I always had to write these sentences. I will not pee in the yard was one of the sentences I had to write hundreds of times. And I write my 10 goals every single day. And that's a physical manifestation. What I'm doing is I'm telling my subconscious mind, this is mine. And I'm believing it. And as soon as we get what we believe we deserve. That's why Tiger Woods imploded. He didn't believe he deserved all the fame and success he had, and he imploded because he had to bring himself back down to what he thought he was worth. So by constantly reinforcing what my goals are and that they're mine, I'm reinforcing to my subconscious that I deserve it so that I don't sabotage myself. And so one of my 10 goals is I'm an outstanding husband to my wife, Katie. I write that every day because I want to believe I deserve to have this outstanding marriage instead of sabotaging it, because I didn't come from family where we had lots of great couples and marriages for me to watch. So there could be some garbage in my subconscious that says I don't deserve to have happiness in my marriage. And so I'm just flushing that out with an intention every single day. I write that every day. Every day I write, I choose to smile, laugh, and play with my daughters today. Because again, I didn't have this example of a dad who chose to smile, laugh, and play with me. Instead, he was always pissed off and wanted to take it out on me. So I don't want that subconscious garbage in my head either. Another one of my goals last year was 2020 is my best year yet. Every day. I started January 1st. I wrote 2020 is my best year yet. COVID hits. Man, no one's going to buy or sell a house, right? That's what I thought. Who wants to let this COVID into their house and have people cough all over their toothbrush? Nobody. And sales did stop, right, for just a couple months. But every day through that, I wrote 2020 is my best year yet. And while everyone else was saying 2020 is a dumpster fire, I kept saying 2020 is my best year yet. And guess what it was? It was my best year yet on every level. And so now it's 2021, and I write 2021 is my best year yet. And I'll believe it, right? It's this repetition. So that's my daily routine. And when I do that, goals, and then the most important thing is, and I've just taken this habit on, is I do a Tony Robbins priming routine, which is a breathing routine to change my state, and then actually focusing on moments of gratitude, and then imagining that I'm being blessed from the heavens, and then visualizing success. So those are the steps to his routine. And so that little process like clears away the last bit of negativity that could possibly be there, so that I show up ready to run through walls, ready to be the leader that I need to be to lead my team to the next level, and don't sabotage everything.
What does that breathing exercise look like?
Wim Hof. I can show you. Wim Hof, just Google Wim Hof breathing routine, but he breathes really deep into his belly, like 30 breaths like that in a row. And then on the 30th one, you breathe out and you hold it out for as long as you can comfortably. And you do the 3 rounds of that. It takes 10 minutes. And by the end of the 3rd round, your whole body is just tingling and buzzed, right? Like you got all this oxygen in your system. You've taken all the stale, stagnant air and gotten it out, and all your cells are just on fire. And literally, if you're going through a bad time in your life, if you got some emotions that are out of whack, if somebody you think is harming you, if old thoughts of being harmed are plaguing you, you do that for 10 minutes, you can't focus on that bad energy anymore, because your whole body feels so good that all you can focus on is how good you feel.
That's amazing. I'm gonna try that, Matt.
Yes, you are.
I am. I'm gonna let you know how it goes, but
I'll text you the video I use. It's just a YouTube video, Wim Hof video. And then I follow that up with a Tony Robbins priming video, which is that meditation where he walks you through gratitude and being blessed. And I do that every day.
So it's the success is found in the small details of our life. It's by changing those little things, because that exercise that you just told us about, the 10-minute exercise, anybody can do it.
Right.
Right? We all are breathing. You can teach that to anybody.
Yep.
Everybody can have a morning routine. It sounds like everybody I talk to, including myself, we all have a little morning routine that we do.
Yes. All the successful people like you. Right.
There's no secret to a strong morning routine. Helps us to get our mind calm to be able to take on the day.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people have a word for the year. Do you have one for this year?
I've never had a word for the year. I've never had a word for the quarter. I maybe one day I will evolve into that. I've got a goal for the year. It's 400 million in 2021. So my word is 400 million. It's 2 words.
That's a pretty big goal.
Yes. Yes, 400 million 2021. We are going to do it.
You just told us you are. So
that's it. I'm on record on the Be the Solution podcast. I am on record to making that happen.
And I bet $100 that you will make it happen.
Wow. Okay. I'm not. I will make sure that I'm also going to put $100 on the line to making it happen. I don't want to bet against that.
No, absolutely not. So I did choose a word for this year.
What is it?
Mastery.
Oh, I like that.
Not adding any new things in. We're going to master the things that we already do.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we don't master some of them, but I don't believe you ever master anything 100%.
Agreed.
We're not perfect. Working in excellence means doing your best every day that you can do.
Totally.
Right? Not perfection. So mastering our systems and things that we're already doing and going deeper instead of wider.
I love it. So what are the top things that you're going to master?
So one is, like you, I started my business in expired listings. And then I got really busy, very busy. Yes. And had all other kinds of business happening. And so I kind of, for a long time, stopped doing that. And then I recently started last year again. Good. So now I wrote a business plan just for expired listings. So it's around email campaigns through Follow Up Boss, direct mail, there's calling, there's retargeting, there's like a shock and awe package system that we create. And I'm forgetting 2 things, I think, right at the moment, but it's going vertical with that rather than doing 10 things, focusing on that would be particularly one. The other one would be growing our company, and that through agents and growing people and bringing in more staff, and mastering Follow Up Boss. Follow Up Boss is our CRM, and we've only been in it for 1 year. We've done tremendous things with it last year, but we are nowhere near where we need to be in mastering that system. And then, of course, I have my podcasting and my videos. So, but that's pretty much it. Those 5 things.
Love it. So the one that you didn't say that you were going to master was your past clients and sphere of influence.
Well, I'm pretty good with those people. I talk to them regularly, and I do videos every week. So 3 videos usually go out through my database.
Wow. 3, you send 3 videos a week?
I do. And wow. One is the Be the Solution video, which is I do on Tuesdays. And I also have a video that goes out to be a client-facing video. And then there might be just an inspiration one. And those also go to all social media channels. So the video is really big. I think last year, Jenna told me we produced around 300 videos in 2020.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. So you already have gone deep in past clients and sphere of influence. I'm taking notes. That's man, it takes a lot of energy sending out that kind of video content. How big is the email list that you're sending to?
We have a couple different ones that go out. So for this podcast, this goes out to 8,000, and that's agents. And our other list is around just probably under 10.
That's your past client list?
Yeah, and people that friends and vendors and business colleagues.
There's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. So here's what happens. So they come to the office and they'll say, and they haven't met me, some of the people before.
Yeah.
And they say, I watch your videos. and they love the inspiration.
Yes.
And they love the message. And so I took this little test. I don't know if you know him. His name is Perry Marshall.
Haven't heard of him.
Okay. So Perry Marshall wrote this book called the 80-20 Marketing Book. And I have it here somewhere. I read it all the time. I pick it up. I'm constantly reading his information. But in this, in the Perry Marshall book, it talks about how 20% of what you do produces 80% of the results. And it's all about all this marketing. So I start to send out the videos based on, it could be nothing about real estate. I'm talking about life, being the solution, courage and grit and resilience. And a lot of times the people say, I am so thankful because I needed that today.
Mm. And that's someone who will definitely use you for real estate. You made a real impact, a real change, a real difference in their life. And there's no other realtor that they're going to go to because no one else made them feel that way. Right. I love that. I need to get that book and copy you.
So do this. There's a test. It's called the Marketing DNA Test. And it's only like $39. I took this test. It's through him. You can go on his site, perrymarshall.com. And in the test, it will tell you, are you more of like somebody who should record the video and through a script, or are you better live? So we were writing the script out, and I put it on my little teleprompter in big view, and I put my phone up on my Halo. My Halo is behind me, or in front of me, excuse me. Yeah. And I would go, da-da-da. And then, okay, it was good, but I did this test, and it said, recorded video is a 1. Say for me, okay, it's a 1. Live video, meaning not recorded. Doesn't mean necessarily live, like we're live right now. I was an 8.
Boom.
So I started I don't write them anymore. It's all come from here.
Of course, that's you. You are just pure presence. You're just pure joy. Anyone who meets you experiences that. And so it's better for you just to be in the moment and be present and deliver that to people. I love it.
So you could do it either way. But if anything, I would say video would probably be the number one lever.
Yeah.
To change somebody's business.
And that is, and obviously most of your business comes from your past clients and sphere, I would assume. Do you know what % of your business is coming from that?
I'd say it's about probably 60. We had business come from radio, TV, direct mail, videos. The videos though come from the businesses in the database. It could be people so we know that it takes 2 years sometimes to turn somebody from raising their hand. Maybe they got an expired letter or they got an absentee letter or something.
Yeah. Raising
their hand to list could take 2 years.
Sure.
We know that. So they may not contact me for a year, but then they kept seeing all these videos, and it's only been through this follow-up boss system and through the videos since I'd say April. May. April 1st was the first podcast. And April was when we started sending them out consistently. Then we got into a routine, and like towards the mid-third quarter and fourth quarter that we had, here's our exact system every week. It takes time. But it's a consistency. And I think that's, Matt, what, we talk about, and I think it's so important. It's that the consistency of doing something every single day. And that's why I picked mastery, because I want to be that tiny hinge that's going to swing the big door is in a tweak. It's in little tweaks. So you're getting to the 400 million doesn't necessarily mean you need to spend more money on marketing. It's probably in the little tweaks of your business, I'm guessing, that'll push you there because you have so much past clients. I mean, how many properties has your company sold over the last decade and a half?
Like probably 3,000.
So you probably have a lot of business right just in that.
Yes. I know. I'm taking all of this. I've been taking notes. Maria, thank you for helping me this year. Maybe I'll send you a giant thank you gift when we.
You know what to say.
I'd love to take our past client business and make it 60%. We're at 40%. So if I could just, it'd be a big growth.
One of the other things too, I started to do is before the appointment, send a video text, and after the appointment. No, we don't call to confirm anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's the easy way out. Oh, no, I don't feel like doing it today. I'll do that listing appointment next week. Or instead of saying, oh, I'm committed to seeing you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Bye.
I'm committed to seeing you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Oh, that's such a good video.
I'll be there with bells on.
I love that. I am committed to being there with bells on tomorrow at 9 a.m.
That's right.
Man, that is a really hard script to cancel on. Like, oh shit, she's committed to being there. I better show up.
Yeah. When you say, I'm committed to showing you that property tomorrow at 9 a.m. Better bring it.
I love it. I love it.
It's all, Matt, we got to have fun every day because there's a lot of detail in buying and selling a property. And it takes, somebody with a lot of experience like yourself and your group in order to facilitate that transaction. So in between it all, we have to have some fun.
Yeah, of course.
I say, 2020 was whatever. I think even though I wrote about this the other day. I said, your 1 year does not define your life or your business. 2020 is not define your life or your business. And somebody said to me, what do you mean by that? I said, well, we had a good year. I mean, we had a little bit of a better year than the year before, and we were closed for 10 weeks, but that's not what it's about. So what does it mean? So I said, well, there's 300 things we did that didn't necessarily manifest into anything yet. It's business, and growth takes time. It takes love. It takes energy. It doesn't happen. Like Rome wasn't built in a day or in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It takes a lot of time and nurturing. Look at the biggest brands in the world, how long they've been around. They didn't even become successful for some of them for before 30 years. Like, think about it.
Sure.
And look at all the success that you've had. And you're still growing, and you're still reaching for more, and you're still growing your brand. Not everybody in Charleston's using Matt O'Neill Real Estate, are they?
Not yet.
That's right. Not yet.
Right.
So there's so much more opportunity.
Oh my gosh. Huge. Yeah, I love what you're saying. A recruiter from the biggest company in our town that sold almost $3 billion this year had a coffee with me, and it was a great meeting, and she put things in perspective. She said, this company started in the 1970s. And that's a long time ago. They've had 50 years to grow it to 3 billion. If I put 50 years into work in this company, we could get to 3 billion. Hopefully we can do it sooner. That's a good message. I love it. Maria, thank you so much for having me on today. I've really enjoyed it. I've learned so much from you. And you brought me on your podcast to teach me. I like that.
Matt, I appreciate you, and thank you for being the solution, and thank you for your great energy. I connected with you when we immediately met, and I'm so glad that we stayed in touch all these years, and I'm so, so happy for you and your success, for your team and for your company and for your family and your community that you serve in.
Well, back at you, girl.
No, kudos to you. and I'll see you soon. Happy 2021.
All right. See ya.